plaintiff, Ansel Carpenter, rented a room in his home to the defendant, but he claims she turned out to be a prostitute, and he has the text messages to prove it. Ansel is suing his former tenant for 2 months of rent, late fees, and utilities. Defendant Divine McDuffie insists Ansel's claims are false, and she has never worked as a prostitute in her life. Divine is countersuing because she claims Ansel broke into her room with a sledgehammer and destroyed her property.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you, sir.
Okay, Divine here is a former tenant of mine.
Did you all know each other before?
No.
Okay.
She was referred by another tenant.
All right.
So she's not a very good tenant. Came to my attention via her roommates that she was prostituting out of.
How long after?
That is a lie.
Hold on, ma'am. How long after moving in that you determined she wasn't a good tenant?
Almost 2 months after she had moved.
She moved in when?
Let's see. The lease agreement right here says June 11th.
All right. So June 11th moved in, and by August you determined she wasn't a good tenant?
Yeah, August 2nd.
And that was based on the allegations or the rumors that you heard?
No, it actually started because she felt like she was being charged too much for her bedroom.
Okay.
And basically tried
Let's get back to this prostitution inflammatory allegation you're making here. That's very inflammatory. I see why you're getting sued for emotional distress. It should be defamation unless you can have some reasonable cause to say that. Where do you get this information from? Is it a rumor or?
No, it's not a rumor. Like her roommates said that there was several men coming in and out of the apartment. It's a 3-bedroom unit, so they said there would be several men waiting in the living room while they're like cooking breakfast or whatever.
Oh, ma'am.
And there would be other men in her bedroom. And then one man leave the bedroom and then another one go from the living room into her bedroom. And it was just a revolving door regularly.
Okay, that could be that she's a freak.
Yeah,
That make her a prostitute. She may be a freak.
I thought
You're
so.
a freak or prostitute? I'm just messing. I'm just using an example of how can you conclude, or she could be a loose. I'm just saying the options. There are many other options. She could be a loose woman. She could be a gambler, and they come in there and they lose their money real quick because they think she's a woman and they can beat her, and she could be a scammer.
He's a scammer.
She could be a counselor, counseling with them. She could be in the ministry,
preaching,
reading the Bible when they come in.
Yeah.
You might be in trouble, but she didn't sue you for that, but you better be careful with that. But nonetheless, what happened on August 2nd?
Well, first off, in regards to the prostitution, I actually have proof right here, page 2 and 3.
You have proof. All right. So you saw somebody spend some money with her? Because prostitution is an exchange of money.
Right. You'll see text messages.
You read them.
I texted her from a friend's phone, posing as a John, basically. I texted her, hey, can I see you tonight? She says yes. I responded, I'll call okay. She responded, I'm only doing in-calls tonight, hun. I replied, okay, can we do 9? She says, sure. I asked, what are your rates? She says, $150 an hour for full service. I responded, that's fine, just to try and make it even more explicit.
Can I object?
Hold on, man.
In terms of what's actually going on, I responded, do you do? She said, no, I'm not going to get into what means. I then replied, what about? She replied, no, anything we do has to be with a condom. What if I pay more? Could we do it without a condom? She said no. Okay, that's fine. Just text me the address and I'll come there at 9. And then she sent the address. Text me when you're here and I'll let you through. Oh, she spelled through wrong. The gate. Okay, unit number 7102. Okay, see you then.
Okay. You want to say anything to that?
Yeah, he just completely falsified evidence, and I'm 100% sure you're not allowed to do that. Like, that's why he wanted
lying?
to. Huh?
Why are you lying?
I'm not lying. Why would anybody?
Okay.
Why would anybody, if I get a text message from a random number, mind you, I do YouTube, like social media, Instagram, TikTok, stuff like that. If anybody has my, what?
You do that as a hobby.
That's not a hobby. I actually get paid.
No, you don't.
I do like prank videos, vlogs. I do like trips,
as a hobby.
eating, stuff like that.
Oh, she tricks,
And
all right.
you're saying that you don't. This wasn't something that you did?
No, that's a complete lie. He's lying. And a matter of
Okay.
fact, I changed my number shortly
All
after.
right. Okay. You have any other evidence?
No, sir.
Okay. Now let's move on. What do you want to say she said to you on August 2nd?
On August 2nd, she wasn't pleased with the rate that she was paying, even though she had already signed a lease agreement, which is on page 1.
When did these texts come, by the way?
August 6th.
Okay. August
Before she
2nd.
changed her number for the
Pardon
record.
me?
Before she changed her
All right,
record,
August 6th.
For the record.
So August, and that's when you found, when did you find out?
I found out August 2nd that she was tricking us.
Okay, August 2nd, you found that out. How did you find out?
Her roommates told me.
Okay, and this happens to be the same day that she comes to you with a complaint, huh?
Mm-hmm.
The same day. Mm-hmm. All right, that's when you suddenly determined she's a prostitute. Move on. She came to you and said she was dissatisfied with what?
The rate that she was paying.
Okay, and what did you tell her?
I told her the time to negotiate was prior to her sending a contract.
I agree.
Her roommates said that there was several men coming in and out of the apartment, and it was just a revolving door regularly.
Okay, that could be that she's a freak. She could be a scammer.
He's a scammer.
She could be a counselor, counseling with them. She could be in the ministry,
Preaching.
reading the Bible when they
Amen,
come in.
hallelujah.
Yeah.
Defendant Divine McDuffie is being sued by her former landlord, who claims Divine was working as a prostitute while living in his rental unit.
Let's hear from you, ma'am, about approaching him August 2nd and what happened.
Okay, so I originally had spoke to him about the price I was paying because he actually had a partner, I guess he does business with. He came without telling us to come show the apartment to different, future tenants. So they asked, can they show my room? I was like, can I get a second to clean my room up a little bit? I still allowed them to come show everyone. As they were showing everyone on page 9, you can see July 13th, I texted him because the person that he sent to show them my bedroom, I had the master bedroom, he was telling everyone that came in that it was $850. I pay $9.95 plus utilities. So they were asking me how much are utilities and such. I'm just like, I'm not sure. Y'all getting told a different price. So I texted him, asking him that day why were they being told a different price. He said that his business partner, he said that he was telling them the wrong rent price. But then I actually met another tenant in the exact same apartment complex with the master bedroom as well, and they were paying $850. So August 2nd, he texted me because I had a lot going on. Like, basically, my ex that day had came and slashed my tires. So August 2nd, he texted me saying, "Hey, did you get my group text?" And I called him and I asked him again, "Does everyone with the unit pay the same price?" He says yes. So I tell him that I actually know a tenant that is actually renting with you now and has been paying $850, and they were actually paying $800, and you raised it to $850. Whole while you're charging me $9.95. That very much upset him. He immediately started calling me out my name and started arguing with me. I hung up the phone. I was out getting my tires fixed that day. So the day I brought that up to him, though, he came and sledgehammered my door in because he got mad that I even asked him the question. Okay, so August 2nd, I never told him that I was not going to pay him. I never said I wasn't going to pay him that price before he came into my room and sledgehammered my door, threw all my stuff into trash bags, put my cat in a cage, and destroyed my bed frame and destroyed all my property that was in my room. The same day that I asked him. I also have a video of what my room looked like.
Let me ask you, sir, first, you're suing for August and September?
Yeah, the rent, utilities, and the late fees, yeah.
All right, and when did she move?
When did she move out?
Yes.
September
7th,
something like that, yeah.
Okay, and she had not paid August rent?
Or September, no.
Okay, and is that true? You did not pay August or September rent?
No, sir. My door was broken into. I didn't even sleep there. I was just
Yeah, that
worried about
occurred
getting my
August
stuff.
2nd, so.
Right.
All right. And so we can get back now to the allegations that you broke down the door, she says, with a hammer or a sledgehammer or something.
sledgehammer, yes.
And destroyed her property. What do you want to say to that?
Lies.
Okay, so you didn't do anything
No,
in
sir.
retaliation?
No, sir.
All right, and you never entered her room without her permission?
Correct.
All right. And do you have any evidence that he did?
Yes, so I have text messages that my roommate actually sent him during that day
What page?
page 17 also.
Okay.
And this
Did
is
they change the doorknob back? What are you referring to?
he also, when he came to the apartment, he changed the front doorknob to a lock doorknob. At first it was a regular.
So how is that relevant? You didn't get a key?
Yeah, they were locked out. My other roommates were locked out, and that's why
How about you? Were you locked out?
Yes, I wasn't
Okay.
able to get in.
Wow, that's ridiculous. This is you talking the other?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we could get locked out again, you say. I'm sure it was to lock you out. And you say, yeah, that's crazy. She says, scary. He told me he would kill someone over $500. You ever tell anyone that?
No.
Okay. I owe him more than that. Then she laughs. You say, WTF, what the, kill? And she says, kill.
So I also have a witness statement on page.
Who is the witness? Who is it?
Destiny Sheets.
What's your association with them?
She is a roommate. She stayed there.
There you go. What page? She was there when this alleged incident occurred? Maybe say she had to see it. Was she there?
Yeah, she was there.
She was a tenant.
She was a tenant.
What
she was
page
living
is
there.
that
She
on?
was not a tenant. That was
What?
my tenant's daughter.
Okay. What page is that on?
It is on page 5, I believe.
So we could get locked out again, you say. I'm sure it was to lock you out. And you say, yeah, that's crazy. She says, scary. He told me he would kill someone over $500. You ever tell anyone that?
No.
Okay.
Defendant Divine McDuffie is being sued by her former landlord, who claims Divine was working as a prostitute while living in his rental unit.
Okay, so the tenant's daughter said the night of August 2nd, and so Carpenter entered the apartment, which I stayed with my mother at the time. Carpenter had spoken to my mother prior to him arriving, and once he got there, he also arrived with another person and tried to enter Divine's room, but the door was locked. Ansel insisted on moving her out that night. Did you try to move her out that night?
No.
You never told her to get out that night?
Correct.
All right. So he brought out a sledgehammer and hammered her doorknob and let him and his company into her room with trash bags. He began to say he was going to self-give away her cat and start going through all of her things, storing them out. She is very specific. You can't make this stuff up. This is very specific. Once Divine arrived and called the police, he came into my mother's room asking us to lie to the cops that we personally saw Divine hit him when we were, in fact, had not witnessed anything like that. He actually locked her out and he had to bang on the door to get her keys she left on the counter. She then went back outside as he stayed in the apartment. He threatened that if we didn't do what he said, that he would evict everyone in the unit. All right, he denies all of that, of course. Do you have any other evidence of that?
Yes, I also have a video from, I think the next day.
How about pictures of any damage?
Oh yeah, I also have a picture of this doorknob.
What page? Okay, I have it on page 7.
Page 7.
All right, and
yeah.
this comports with everything that's said here and everything that you're saying. Reference to the doorknob, I see it. Now let's look at your video.
Okay, so first of all, my bed was lifted off the ground. It was not on the ground like that. It was set up where it stayed up off the ground. That was all the trash bags. That's my cat. He took everything out my drawers. He threw all my stuff into trash bags. That's after I moved everything back in. He took everything out my closet. He went through all my drawers. That's all my stuff everywhere. After he came and ransacked my room, put everything in the living room, I had to move all that stuff back. And it was just a complete mess.
Okay, and sir, do you recognize that room? Have you ever seen it in that condition?
No.
All right.
I saw it prior to her moving in, but
I said in that condition.
On that condition, no, sir.
Okay, and I don't believe she would do that to her own room. And I don't believe the witness, who is a tenant, would lie.
She's not.
She lives there. When you live there, you're a tenant, sir. That's why you don't know landlord-tenant law. Anybody that lives with you, they are a tenant. Watch when you try to put them out without 30 days notice, even if they don't pay you a dime, zero. If you stay there a significant amount of time, you are a tenant. Learn landlord-tenant law, and you won't get hit with a $5,000 judgment for what you did to her. Your claim is dismissed. Yours $5,000 granted for everything she said, she has evidence of, she has a witness statement of, and she has video of. Learn landlord-tenant, mister, before you go into the business.
You look like a Sasquatch and you a liar. You need to find another job.
You always insult the way I look. I don't give a
You're a prostitute,
You're a
and I don't
hooker.
care. You need a therapist.
You're welcome. You got $5,000 off of me.
Plaintiff Amber Pearson started dating the defendant while working together, but she soon discovered he was talking to another girl at work. Amber's suing her ex because he borrowed her car and crashed it. Defendant Kristen Wright says Amber is jealous, and she once caused a scene while he was hanging out with a female friend. He's countersuing because he claims Amber damaged his gun safe during an argument.
Start with you, ma'am.
Okay, so me and Mr. Wright met back in 2018. We were working at the same job together. We started dating, and soon after that, I found out he was talking to another girl at the job. So after that, it's been another girl, another situation. I can't even trust him to drive my car. He says I'm insecure and jealous, but I just go off of what he does. I have an example for you.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as he said he started doing right and I could trust him, I catfished him. So what I did, I downloaded a fake app on my phone and I pretended to be another girl. He conversated with her, but it was really me.
What'd
so
he
I was
say?
like, do you want to?
I knew it
Yes,
was
Your Honor?
her.
What'd he say?
He was just going around, he's like, send me a picture. So I sent him a picture of a random girl. And he was like, you look good. And I was like, thank you, send me a picture. So he sent a picture and then conversation going. I was like, well, what are you doing tonight? You want to meet up? And he was like, yeah, we can meet up. So I sent him a number, I sent him the address to an apartment complex. So then he comes to me and he asked me, can he borrow my car? So I'm like, yeah, where are you going to go? He said, I'm going to go to Walmart. I said, okay, you can go to Walmart. You can take my car. Bring some toilet paper home. So then I call my niece. I'm like, I need your car. So she comes and gets me. We go to the apartment complex. By the time we make it to the apartment complex, he's already there, backed in the parking spot in my car. So then I pull up and I block him in. I said, what are you doing? This don't look like Walmart. So I picked my cousin up. He was like, you want to go to Walmart with me? So I'm like, oh, you're full of it. So I show him the text message. I'm like, you were texting me. Like, I knew all of this was a lie. And he was like, I already knew it was you. It's just always.
So what
always
were you
something.
doing? Yeah. Well, so who were you waiting at that apartment building, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you knew it was you, who would you go there to meet? You were at
Exactly.
home. You didn't have to go anywhere to meet you. He took your
Right?
car to meet somebody, not to just sit in front of the apartment building. Now, how long after dating did you all determine you were going to be in a committed relationship? Because I promise you that's what he's going to say. We weren't in no committed relationship. I was just stopping by every now and then. Friends who benefits, right? Watch this. Isn't that right? See,
Right.
he laughing. I know that's what he's going to say. Now, how long after dating did you all determine you were going to be in a committed relationship? Because I promise you that's what he's going to say. We weren't in no committed relationship. I was just stopping by every now and then. Friends who benefits, right? Watch this. Isn't that right? See,
Right.
he laughing. I know that's what he's going to say.
Plaintiff Amber Pearson is suing her ex-boyfriend, who claims Amber intentionally damaged his gun safe during an argument.
You started dating on the job, 2018. He was already dating another woman on the job, come to find out. But when did you all determine you were going to be exclusive?
I say probably a little bit before Halloween. We met probably like in May. of 2018, about Halloween, we started like making it official.
And how old were you all?
I was 24.
I'd say probably like 21, 22.
And you'd only dated 4 or 5 months. For folks you all's age, it usually take about a year. They can lie to each other, but it's going to take about a year to be exclusive with each other because they're not absolutely certain. And they keep interviewing until they're certain. So that's why I say you should wait. Linda and I dated for 4 years. When did we become exclusive? None of your business. None of y'all business. Could have been 1 week, could have been 1 year. Y'all will never know. Give me some background, sir.
All right. Everything was good at first when we started talking and everything, getting the feel in. And then I started noticing that she was very controlling. She is a little jealous. She can be that at times.
Did you start out dating her and while you were already dating somebody on the job?
No, sir. That's not true at all. I had a couple of friends and stuff, and when we started talking, when we started working at the same place, I was letting her know that I had friends, and later on, like a couple months prior, that's when we like made it official.
How do you make it official?
She just got tired of, I guess, playing around and was like, hey,
how do you do it? Do you say, can we make this official? Is there a state? Is there, because I don't remember doing that when I was a young man.
She was a very controlling person.
No, I want to see, how do you make relationships official? Do you say, would you like to make this official? And they say yes or no? Ma'am, how do you make relationships official?
You say we're going together now. Don't talk to nobody else.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Or else.
or else. Oh, okay, that's pretty plain. All right.
Yeah,
so,
she likes to fight. That's how you know. She said or else.
Tell me how so. Tell me about that. The violence.
Okay,
she likes to fight. I don't like to hear that.
With one of my friends that happened to be a female, and we happened to be in a car talking, having a conversation. She didn't even come up and ask her what was her name, what were we doing. She comes to the car and bangs on the windows, being real loud, neighbors coming outside, wondering what's going on and everything. And she just likes to
What did your friend do?
Attention.
What did your friend do?
She was pretty much scared because how Amber was acting and everything. She was very loud and just obnoxious.
How did that end? That ended like that? Amber just left, or how did it end?
No, it actually ended in her damaging my property, as you can see on page 2 and 3.
Well, let me look at the property of hers you damaged first. Ma'am, go ahead and tell me why you're suing him for car damages.
Because I let him use my car to go pick a check up. If he was picking up a checkup, I don't know. But that was his thing. He was going to go pick a checkup.
He's going over that apartment.
A work check.
He's going over to that apartment you gave.
Go
ahead.
I'm going to pick up a check.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what he says. But he ended up wrecking my car on the way to pick the check up. So he called me at work and was like, hey, I wrecked your car. It's no big deal, though. It wasn't my fault. So insurance is going to pay for it. So I'm like, okay, accidents happen. So when I get the police report, it says that it was his fault. So
it wasn't my fault. The other girl took off, and they had to find her. So it's basically like a hit and run.
Well, the police report's right. It's on page 1 through 3. It says that he's Unit 1, and it says that Unit 1 was at fault. It was Unit 1's fault, and he was Unit 1.
I don't feel that I'm at fault because they had to go find her.
You hit her and she ran. That's what you hit and run?
Yeah. The victim ran.
Plaintiff Amber Pearson is suing her ex-boyfriend, who claims Amber intentionally damaged his gun safe during an argument.
Unit 2 was traveling westbound toward the intersection. Unit 1 was directly behind. Unit 1 struck the rear. Anytime you hit someone in the back, sir, you're presumed to have been at fault because the expectation...
Your Honor, she sped it off in front of me and rolled into my lane. When I stopped, it had slid because it was raining that day. And when it hit her, She just takes off. Another witness sees it and calls the police, giving her a description of her and her car.
I know you cut me off while I was telling you the law, but the law is still the same. Now,
I'm sorry.
$2,186. She has shown me evidence that it was your fault. And the police says it based on what I read and even based on what you interrupted it to tell me. It is your fault. You have to accommodate every scenario when you're on the road. If it's raining, you have to drive at a certain speed to accommodate what might happen in front of you. When someone is in front of you, you have to have enough space to accommodate not hitting them should they slam on their brakes. So a person slams on their brakes and you hit them, you're still at fault. Folks need to know that. The legal theory is that the person in front of you is driving in front. They can't see you, so they don't know what to do other than do what they're supposed to do. Drive forward, stop, drive when it's time to. After you said they backed up into you, different question. Person puts it in reverse and back up, then yes, they're wrong because you can't accommodate or expect a car to back up on you. So, what's your counterclaim for the gun safe? I'm glad you had a safe that you put your gun in, but what happened?
Yes, sir. She that happened like a couple of hours maybe after the altercation with the friend that was a girl that she ran up on us. And when I got to the house, she had already been there. And when I get in there, she's just shaking it, and then she like picks it up and like throws it. And it's never been right. It doesn't open.
The safe
how it's
itself?
supposed to open.
What's she picking?
Yes, sir. I didn't have it drilled in the wall. I just recently got it.
What damage did it do? It's no longer.
She damaged like some type of panel with the key.
Ma'am, what do you say?
It's like a panel that locks the safe.
I didn't damage anything. He said
Yes,
I picked it up and I threw it. That is a
did.
heavy safe.
I
did not. I couldn't even pick it up.
Did you pick it up? What did you do?
I tried to pick it up.
You need to be quiet. You didn't talk yourself already out of the car. Go ahead.
So I picked the gun safe up a little bit. I tried to pick it up and it's too heavy. So I just like pushed it a little bit. So some of the stuff in the safe did move around, but the safe itself did not fall over.
I believe you owe him, ma'am, all that nonsense you're talking about. I pushed it and it didn't fall, or I touched it and it leaned and then it leaned back the other way and so it didn't. I don't believe that, ma'am. Judgment for the defendant, your counterclaim, $300. Judgment for the plaintiff, and the amount you petitioned the court for, $2,186. I believe both of you. All right, have a good day.
I just want my money for the car because it was your fault now that we have the true answer.
I just want my safe money back. And I hope that she, in her next relationship, she doesn't have that much attitude.
Plaintiff Viola Brown says she was 32 years old when she found out she was adopted, and she's been searching for her biological family ever since. Viola believes the defendant may be her half-brother, so she petitioned the court for a sibling DNA test. Defendant Bernard Larcher says he always knew he was adopted, and his mother always told him he had biological siblings. Bernard says he and Viola have been in constant contact since finding each other, but he hopes they are proven to be siblings today.
Ma'am, you've both, I'm not going to put it on you, requested a sibling DNA test. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's start with you, ma'am.
About 1992, I had found out when my adopted mother had passed away that she wasn't my mother and that I was adopted. And at the time, I was actually 32 years old. So it was kind of late. And
who told you?
how I found out was through like the housing. Right, my brothers, they were at the time 19, so I went there to try to keep, to help them keep the apartment. And they had told me that I can't do nothing because I'm a foster child. And at the time, I did not know anything about being a foster child.
Housing authority had that much information on you?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Wow.
I was in total shock when I found out. And I was like, what? So that's when I got on the phone and I called my mother's aunt. And my mother's aunt told me, she said, you knew you was adopted? And I was like, no, I never knew. This is the first time I ever knew, found out I was adopted. So years have went by, all the family passed away. I questioned everybody. No one was able to actually give me any answers. So about 5 years ago, my daughter told me, she's like, Mommy, she's like, let's do this ancestry test to see how it goes. And sure enough, we did it, and I actually found my mother's sister.
Plaintiff Viola Brown started searching for her biological family when she was 32, and she believes the defendant may be her half-brother. So she petitioned the court for a sibling DNA test.
What about your father?
I don't even know where he's at, sir. I know that he's from Chicago. I know that much.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't been able to find him as of yet. Mm-hmm. But I'm still on the search of finding him next.
No, you're not. Nobody care about the man.
Well, I care. I care about everyone.
No, you're not.
So
you ain't even mentioned his existence. I get around to him. I was just having fun with you.
No, I just went about who popped up, right? And it was on my mom's side that popped up.
Got it.
As far as my dad's side, I have seen some people with the last name Brown on my ancestry. I have gotten in touch with them, but they weren't actually able to give me any answers of who my dad was. They didn't know his name. So I'm just like, right now, wanted to find out about Bernard because my aunt said that I had 3 brothers and I was the only girl. So I actually went back to Ancestry and I found my brother Leo. And he introduced me to my other brother. So they both said, you have another brother. I was like, what? I would love to find him. So I actually went back to Ancestry again. I kept looking and looking and looking. And so enough, Bernard popped up as first cousin. So the way he popped up, he had to be more than a cousin because my aunts, they're around my age. So it's impossible for them, for him to be one of the children of Dolores Segura. Is my mom's name. So I got in touch with Bernard and I started talking to him. And the first thing he told me, his mother's name is Dolores. So I was like, and he was adopted too. So I was like, okay. So, the ancestry, they don't do like a sibling test. And, you're my favorite judge. So I was watching your show and it sure enough came up, a DNA thing. So I was like, well, let me call Judge Mathis' show and see what can happen for us.
All right. Well, let me hear from your brother, your presumed brother.
I was adopted, and since I was a little child, I always wondered. My mother always told me that I had sisters and brothers out there. But as I got older, I traveled a lot, so I had a good family. So I always wondered, and I did the same thing. I did some research, and lo and behold, I found her, and I reached out also. And ever since we've been talking, Yeah,
and let me ask you how old you were when you were informed you were adopted or had brothers and sisters.
My age, I was probably about 4 or 5.
Okay, and when were you told you have other brothers and sisters at same age?
No, when I got a little older, 10, 11, something like that. All through the years, she always mentioned that I had family.
Did you ever ask for help in finding them?
No, not at the time. I didn't know you can do that. No.
Yeah, you didn't say, well, do y'all know how I can find them? At age 10 or 11,
well,
I'll be like, can they come over?
Mm-hmm. No, at those times, I was really in the islands. I lived in the Caribbean at the time.
Okay.
And when I came back to the States, I was in school. And, you know, over the years, I always wondered, and, you know.
How did you live in the islands? From what age did you?
My mother and father, they were from the Caribbean, and they always went back and forth. And we decided to go, and I went with them. And actually, I lived out there for a couple of years. I liked it. We came back in '79 or something, and
what island?
Since then, St. Lucia.
Plaintiff Viola Brown started searching for her biological family when she was 32, and she believes the defendant may be her half-brother. So she petitioned the court for a sibling DNA test.
So you came back, and you were what age?
When I came back to the States, I was 16.
Okay, and how did your search begin?
I reached out to my son, and he was doing it, and he told me about her, and I reached out to her.
Okay.
And that's how that came about.
Okay, so your son helped you in making it happen. Yeah, you didn't seem like the type that has any real acumen in terms of technology. Don't you have to get on a computer or something, laptop?
No. I had a few people help me doing that.
See there, I know.
Yeah.
Talk about our generation. We probably, we're nearly the same age, and so, you know, I just want to make sure I'm not the only dummy.
No.
All right, thank you for sharing that. I feel a lot better about myself. Okay, when folks say dad or friend or Mr. Mathis or judge, you're about one of the few that don't know how to work laptops and computers.
Nope.
I'm saying nope.
Not me.
I got a brother named Bernard from New York. I may have to carry you around with me. So, once you all began talking, what was it like?
She called me, and she was very adamant about her being my sister. And, you know, I felt that. And I believed her. And I still believe her. So, you know, I feel it. And she's my sister.
How often have you all talked, Ms. Brown?
Just about almost every day.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Beautiful.
He's a very interesting person, and he makes me laugh.
Yes, we do.
All right, that's great. I wish I could talk to my brothers every day. But one of them make me mad, and the other one make me laugh. And I laugh when I'm laughing with him to keep from crying. Well, my brothers make me mad, and then they make me cry if I talk to them enough. So y'all got a good deal. I don't want to do that but once a month. And the DNA report says that.
Tune in tomorrow when Judge Mathis will reveal the results of today's paternity test.